Welcome back, my beautiful soul. This is the sacred art of remembering. And today we journey in to the awakening that happens through one of life's most misunderstood gifts, letting go. Letting go is often spoken of like it's an ending, but in truth, it's a beginning. Not just a release of someone else, but a return to yourself. You see, in the aftermath of a goodbye, especially one that serves the heart, what rises first may feel like pain, but if you listen closely, underneath the sorrow is something extraordinary, something ancient, something powerful, the beginning of your spiritual awakening. At first, the pain feels overwhelming, not because you lost someone, but because you lost the part of yourself that was bound up in who they were to you. We all carry unconscious projections, stories we place on others. We make them our saviors, our villains, our mirrors. But projections are not love. They are longing dressed in illusion. And when you let someone go, those projections begin to dissolve. You stop needing them to validate you. You stop needing their presence to feel whole, and in the quiet that follows, something deep begins to stir. This is the awakening. It's not loud or dramatic. It is a silent realization that you were never meant to shrink yourself, to be worthy of love. You were never meant to be completed by another. You were always whole. You just forgot. And forgetting is human, but remembering, that is sacred. So when you let go of someone, you stop searching for yourself in their eyes. And for the first time in a long time, you turn inward. You remember the dreams you silenced, the voice you softened, the desires you denied. And instead of asking, why didn't they choose me? You begin to ask, why did I abandon myself to be chosen? This is not self-blame. This is self-inquiry, an inquiry into the doorway to freedom. Letting go isn't just about them. It's about what you use them for to avoid. Sometimes we stay in relationships not out of love, but because they distract us from facing our own shadows. When the relationship ends, those shadows rise. The hurt you buried, the fear you swallowed, the part of you that said, I'm too much, or I'm not enough, they all come rushing home. Not to punish you, but to be healed by you. And this is where the real work begins. The sacred art of tending to yourself, the way you've always longed for another to do. You begin to give yourself what you thought only they could provide. Attention, compassion, dignity, space. You begin to realize the love you craved was never theirs to give. It was always yours to return to. This is not a surface level healing. This is soul work. This is deep. You stop performing. You stop begging. You stop believing that your worth is tied to someone else's capacity to see it. And instead, you begin to live as yourself, for yourself. Not in a self-centered way, but in a self-honoring way. Because true love begins with presence. And presence cannot come from pretending. So when the noise of needing them fades, you hear something else, a whisper, not from the world, but from your own soul. It says, I was always here, waiting for you to come back. This is your deeper self, your self-energy, the one who is not shaped by fear or longing, the one who doesn't perform for love because she knows she is already love. And in this return, something sacred unfolds. You reclaim your dignity. Dignity is not defiance. It's not about providing anything. It's about no longer apologizing for existing. You begin to take up space. You set boundaries, not from anger, but from alignment. You make choices, not from fear, but from truth. You also begin to reclaim your purpose. You remember why you are here, not to contort into someone else's life, but to build your own, not to beg to be seen, but to live in a way that you can see yourself clearly. Letting go dissolves the illusion that kept you small, and from that space, your life begins to expand again. You return to your inner compass. You feel your wholeness not as a theory, but as a lived experience. And so, if you're in a place of letting go, or even if you're still holding on with trembling hands, let me say this to you gently. You're not losing, you're just remembering. You're not being punished, you're being invited. Invited back to yourself, back to your voice, back to your life. This is a sacred awakening that letting go makes possible. You do not need someone else to mirror your worth anymore. You have become the mirror, and what you see is someone worthy, whole, and ready to rise. If this touches something in you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear this truth. Letting go isn't easy, but you are never meant to do easy things. You are meant to remember who you are. And beloved, you just did.